What's up, guys? John from Heavysettactical here. Today is I'm just doing a quick intro. I like long videos about knives. This is the Cold Steel CPM3V Trailmaster Bowie. I like long videos on knives. I like watching them before I buy the knives, whatever, and just watching long videos. So I shoot long videos. First 10 minutes is a tabletop review, and then the last 15 minutes ish are me out on the trail using it. So it's like a 25-minute video. If you guys would rather skip the tabletop and see me actually using it, skip the first 10 minutes. I don't care. I watch what you want to watch. I just wanted to preface it. It's a long one. So, go to the 10-minute mark if you want to see me using it. Or if you want to watch the whole thing, that's great too. Enjoy, guys. What's up, guys? This is John from Heavysettactical. Today I have a tabletop slash outdoor kind of quick one today. It's hard to get this whole knife in frame on my video camera because of how massive it is. This is the Cold Steel Trailmaster in CPM3V. Funny story, I've been looking for this knife for quite some time, and I actually wasn't, it kept getting snuck right out from under me on eBay and on Blade HQ. Blade HQ had them in once or twice, and I literally missed it by a day. So because I emailed them, I said, I saw that you guys had them in stock, but they're not in stock anymore. And they would tell me, you missed it by an hour or a day. So it was a whole process, and I finally got my hands on one. This is the Cold Steel Trailmaster in CPM 3V. Man, trying to get the whole thing in frame. I don't want to have to turn it to the side like that because I like it to be more straight on, but whew, would you look at that. Trailmaster, Cold Steel, CPM3V, Taiwan, because yes, they are made in Taiwan. With the Cray X sheath, and which we'll talk about in a minute, the Cray X sheath, Secure X sheath, and the Cray X handle, Craton handle, whatever the wording is. Make a long story short, I'm less worried about what it's called and more worried about how it functions. So today we're taking this thing outdoors. But I want to go over some specs real quick. The overall length of this knife is 14.5 inches long. The blade is 9.5 inches long. The thickness is massive. The thickness of this blade is 0.31 inches. I'm going to grab one for comparison. Give me 1 second. So in comparison, this is the SE6 with custom handle scales that I have not done a video on yet. And this is the thickness compared to the SE6. It's about twice as thick as the SE6. And then this is the SRK in San Mai. Goodness gracious, man. Would you look at that? It's just crazy. So, the reason I show you the SRK in San Mai is because this has a very similar profile. The blade profile is similar in shape, outer shape, and it has a very similar sharpened swedge, and then back to the about 3/4 length regular sharp spine. The SRK has a sharp spine, but when I tell you guys that this is one of the sharpest spines I've ever even felt on a knife, the whole way to here, then it breaks for the swedge, and then yes, that swedge is super sharp. Not sharp enough to slice through paper, but very sharp swedge. This strikes a ferro rod like you wouldn't believe. And I did test that a little bit in the outdoor video. So it's 14.5, 9.5. It's 0.31 inches thick, extremely thick stock. Man, really comfortable in hand. Those handle grips are just excellent. They have that checkered diamond pattern. It's, like I said, in CPM3V. It's a clip point. It's got a full flat grind except for the swedge in the front. Satin finish. The handle is 5 inches long, and it's that Craton, I believe is the term for the handle material. but it has lines across the top and bottom. They're the same. And then this diamond grip pattern. But you can see in the way it pushes my skin back and forth. It's very, very grippy. Extremely grippy. You're not getting this knife out of my hand. Very grippy handle. So I like it a lot, and I liked it when I used it outdoors. The weight of this is 1 pound and 1.5 ounces. So it's just over a pound, 1 pound and 1.5 ounces. This has a big sharpening choil on it that could almost be used as a finger choil. It's kind of actually comfortable to do that. I wouldn't recommend it just because it's not made for that, but it is usable. Now I did use this blade outdoors. I thought I just saw a roll on it, but I don't. This knife is just so sharp, guys. It's alarmingly sharp. I wish I had a fuller piece of paper. This is the out-of-the-box edge. And it's sharp the whole way down the blade. They did a really great job with this grind. It starts out at a certain thickness and then kind of bevels out up towards the tip and becomes more slicey. So the tip, here's the butt of it, whole way out. Very, very sharp. Oh, that was me. Just a really sharp blade. Really, really, really. The edge geometry was actually kind of blew me away a little bit because it's extremely, extremely sharp. So here's another up close look. This is after I've used it quite a bit. I just cleaned it off with some soap. There's still some markings on it, so I apologize, but that's about as clean as I could get it. So I'm going to switch over to the outdoor video. I am going to show you this. I'm going to either have a sheath built for it, or I'm going to try my hand again at leather making and make a sheath for it, because I know I'm able to do so. This is their Securex sheath. Now, I have heard about the glass-filled nylon actually damaging the sharp micro edge on, or the micro bevel on your edge. But as far as sheaths go and carrying goes, I might switch this for a different drop that's harder, because it is a little bit kind of floppy. This part is, I don't like it like, super floppy like that on big knives. I like them secured pretty good. But I was able to run a piece of paracord through these two loops right around the upper part of my knee. So honestly, guys, everybody hates these sheaths, and hates on them, and on the SRK, it rides really good. For this bigger knife, it was definitely doable, but it was it's just light enough for you to carry, has a little bit of rattle, but it has good grab. I was impressed, because you can kind of use this as a thumb ramp, push till the guard hits your thumb, and then pull right out. Has a positive click. So I do like the sheath to it. It's definitely usable, but like I said, this knife was $300. Now these knives are about $350 everywhere. I was lucky enough to get one for about $300. So I will put links in the description to potential places you can get them now. These knives in CPM3V are 500 plus on Cold Steel's website, so don't do that. But you can definitely get one for 300-ish, 350 maybe online. They're very hard to get these days in CPM3V. Blade HQ does have the San Mai version, which I've heard pretty good things about. I aim for the better steels these days. It's part of my craft. It's part of, I'm very hard on things as well. But as far as I'm concerned, I've seen some really good videos. The DBK guys had a San Mai version on their thing, and they did a versus against the Modern Bowie, and it was the Fall Nevens Modern Bowie, and it looked like the San Mai did pretty well. So again, here's a look at it in the sheath. Here's a look at it outside the sheath. Ooh boy. And I'm about to show you guys my outside video. I took it on the trail with me this morning for a hike and did some batoning and stuff with it. So have a good time, guys. Thanks for watching. This is John from Heavysettactical. I hope you enjoy the video. What's up, guys? John from Heavysettactical. Today I'm going to do a little demo of my, finally I got it out in the woods, my Cold Steel CPM3V Trailmaster. And I had been looking for one of these for quite some time. So today I'm going to do a little batoning and some feather sticking with it and kind of see how it fares with that nice big blade. Stay tuned. Cold Steel Trailmaster with me today, and I want to baton a little bit with it and see how well it works, because I know it's going to baton well. And this is the CPM3V one. Been tracking that knife down for a while. Yeah, it's got enough hit on it. So I've seen some pretty crazy videos of guys batoning with this thing, but I want to see how well it works myself. Need a little more weight. Whew. I knew it was going to be simple, but I didn't think it was going to be that freaking simple. This thing is a wood processing knife if I've ever held one. Man. I'm telling you guys, this is probably one of the best batoners I've ever used. It's got a really thick profile, but it seems to work pretty damn well. Man. Now I knew it was going to work well because they convex the edge, and it's got a flat cut, you know, a flat grind the whole way from the spine up to the blade, but then they put this really, really deep convexed edge on it, which I wasn't expecting. Yeah, so I knew it was going to be a glider, just gliding through this wood. Now this is fresh wood, so the bark comes off a little easy, but man, what a great profile on this knife. And Cold Steel, in my opinion, doesn't get enough credit for some of their big blades like this. Now this one was quite expensive because it was the CPM3 version and it's one of their premier knives, but you know, a good trail knife is worth a lot to me. You know, so the price is doable. You know, it's not for somebody that's going to buy it and not use it, in my opinion, but that's just me. Man. I've seen guys feather stick with this knife, but I didn't know if it was too brutish to kind of be good at feather sticking, so I'm trying it at all different spots on the blade. I think with bigger knives, I kind of like to come in at it at an angle and run that blade down. Let me try closer up a little bit. But I'll tell you what, guys, this thing is a bush knife if I've ever used one. You can get really nice fine curls with it. You know, anything from de-limbing branches to batoning. I think it's pretty safe to say it's one of the best wood processing knives I've ever used. Man. pull cuts on it are comfortable. See, one of my things is, the reason I like Work Tough Gears brand, and I like their big knives, is because they come with that full large handle. So the profile of the blade is matched with a long handle. Even on my small 5-inch knives, I like a 5 or a 5.25 inch handle, because you got room to move around and you got room to swing it. And this has a slightly slimmer profile on the handle, so I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but it has enough. I think that's why they use that that Kraton material for the rubberized grip, because you can still get a really good grab on this thing, which is pretty comfortable. So I'm pretty impressed with the sheath. Everybody doesn't like their glass-filled nylon sheaths because they take away that fine edge a little bit, which for now I'm okay with using. I'll probably make one for it. Goes right through that knot like butter. I'm telling you guys, as a camp knife, building fires, building shelters, this thing's pretty crazy. Breaking down kindling. I knew it was going to work that well, but you know, you never know just how well it's going to work until you get it out on the trail. That's why I never judge any of Cold Steel's blades until I start to use them. Some of their cheaper steels or any otherwise, because you never really know. And this thing just performs excellent. Now, I have a new TS Prof sharpening system coming in this week that'll be able to handle large blades like this. So when it gets here this coming week, I'm going to do an edge retention video on this, and I'm going to do either the famous old sisal rope test, or you know, maybe incorporate wood into that a little bit, because that's what we're all going to be using it for as a camp knife. And I'm gonna, you know, really get down to the bottom of how good their heat treat is on this CPM3V. But I'll tell you what, man, this thing slices like a dream. Now, it is new, so you know, your edges are always pretty immaculate when they're brand new like this. And that's the problem with lower end knives. High-end knives like this that are expensive, they take the time to put a really good grind on, and this convex edge is just crazy. Like, I knew it was going to cut well, but I didn't know it was going to cut like this. So you can kind of expect it's going to be pretty good, but I don't know how good until you get the knife. And I bet you, when I put a really nice edge on that Sanmai SRK that I have, that I'm not huge on, I don't think it's worth, you know, the 150 bucks I spent on it originally, or whatever it was, maybe 120, I forget. The SRK in Sanmai was a good buy. I liked it. I did that video on it and showed the edge retention of the Sanmai wasn't that bad. But the SK85 I haven't done yet, or SK5 version. I'm thinking of Work Tough Gears knives again, saying SK85. I'll tell you what, guys, this is a hell of a wood processor, and to have a big knife like this that you can kind of choke up on and get those nice curls in with, I'm pretty happy with it. You know, that's about as good of a feather stick as I could do with a Scandi, you know, a Scandi LT Wright. So I'm happy with it. My feather sticks, I talk about it a lot, my feather sticks aren't that great. So to be able to do them well with this big of a knife, I'm pretty happy with. So another aspect of a big blade like this is, you know, chopping. So I wanted to see how well this was going to chop today. That's probably an inch in. I knew the profile was good, but it's... Holy crap. Now I suggest a little bit of a lanyard on this thing so you guys don't have a slip. This is going to be kind of a bitch because I can't roll this thing over. But yeah, I always talk about big knives deflecting. And when I was out here with the Work Tough Gear Grizzly, I said something about that. When you swing on, especially new branches like this, they have a lot of sap on the outside skin there, on the outside bark. So you can hit it straight on, thinking it's straight on, but because this branch is running diagonally, it can reflect out like that and come down and hit you. So you got to be careful and make sure you get a good stance on, you know, so you're not coming down anywhere where you're going to be near to that. Whew. That's a pretty thick branch there. You can see it next to my fist. Fist size. It grabs in good, but the one thing is, when I'm swinging on this, the blade's not as heavy as you think. It's not. It doesn't have as much body to it as like my Work Tough Gear Grizzly. So when you're coming against stuff, if you hit up here by the tip, it's not going to give you as much. That sweet spot on this knife seems to be, because you never want to come in too close to the guard. The sweet spot on this knife is that dead center area. But yeah, I don't know if I would consider this my favorite chopper, but all around woods processor and shelter build, a knife that I can use for shelter building, I would probably rate that probably an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10. I would use that as my, you know, probably bring that and a smaller LT Wright as a companion blade, or a really nice folder, but I don't usually go with folders when I'm going outdoors, especially because you never know what, you know, what's going to happen. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. So yeah, guys, overall I think the Cold Steel Trailmaster in 3V is definitely a win. I wish it was a little heavier, but as an overall like full-size survival knife or bush knife or something you're going to use to build a shelter with, it was really pretty impressive. So again, I'd give it my recommendation. And another thing I didn't talk about today is the ridiculously sharp spine. So another thing I wanted to talk about briefly before I end this video is their Cold Steel's San Mai and this CPM3V Trailmaster, they come with a ridiculously sharp spine. So it's daylight. I didn't bring a ferro rod because I didn't think you'd see the sparks that well, and I didn't want you guys to not get a good picture of how many but look at that. I almost can't even run it. Look at that. Imagine if this was a piece of fat wood. So you want to talk about a bushcraft knife. That spine is what bushcraft knives try to get to. That spine is literally hair popping sharp, razor sharp. So for striking a ferro rod or taking some pine fat wood, and getting those fibers together, it doesn't get any better than that. This thing almost has a burr on it like an LT Wright would. So yeah, excellent bushcrafting knife. Large bushcrafting knife, that is. Survival knife, I'd say. So yeah, had to put some last food for thought in there about that sharp spine. I'm going to take this thing home and clean it up. We're going to see how it fares with cutting a piece of paper after doing a decent amount of edge retention with it, you know, beating on the edge a little bit today. It's just an excellent knife, man. I knew I was going to like it, but I didn't think it was going to be, you know, as slicey as it was. It kind of ended up being like excellent. And I'm going to tell you where this excels at is shelter building, fire making, because of the sharp spine and the ability to do finer work with it. If you really wanted to, you could come over the top with your thumb and use that big sharpening choil as a finger choil to kind of get up closer to the blade. I wouldn't recommend that. I think it was just fine keeping it like this, because it has the weight coming down to really run some great curls. But yeah, overall, just really impressed with it. I think delimbing branches, taking the bark off of limbs, batoning, fire starting, stuff like that, this knife is going to really excel at. So I was really happy to get it out today, because I kind of knew with that really nice, you know, and you see the really nice grind on it, but you can see up front, this convex goes from about that big, and then once you come up front, it kind of widened. And even if that was an accident, the cutting profile is excellent, because as it gets up here and it's a lot thinner, it kind of rolled back. So it just has the sliciest cutting profile on it. And that sharpened swedge on top, to be honest with you, they could have done without that. I know it's for maximum penetration. If you had to use this for a self-defense tool against bears, mountain lions, anything like that, God forbid any other crazy people on the trail, or you know, I guess some sort of back cuts or striking a ferro rod on it would be, you know, very doable. But it's going to eat up your baton a little bit, but you know, I don't think any of us really care about that if you're in a survival situation. It definitely gives it an edge for penetration up to that, you know, the point where it stops. So yeah, guys, Cold Steel CPM3V Trailmaster was a win. Like always, guys, have a good week, stay safe, and stay heavy. I tell you what, guys, now that I'm home after doing that video, you can see there's very minimal marking on the blade. Very minimal. And look at how sharp this thing still is. This is what blew me away. This is after we shot that video down the woods. Look at that. This is after I simply cleaned it with soap and water. That is so ridiculously sharp. I could shave my face with this thing. And I batoned through a significant amount of wood, chopped a bunch of trees, brush down, delimbed a bunch of trees. That thing is razor sharp still. I'll tell you what, Cold Steel's CPM3V has significantly impressed me, guys.